Welcome to Die Hard. Very, very exciting week. First and foremost, thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks even if you're just popping by to see what the hell this is all about. This week has been a wild one. I was in Florida. Like I said, I've been saying this as a repeat each week on Die Hard that I love October. It's the greatest. Halloween, basketball, baseball, football. Um, Great season. I love it. A very, very good. Pumpkin spices around. You got so many good things cooking in October. But man, it's taken years off of my life. I'll tell you that. If you're a Brewers fan or a Cubs fan or a Yankee fan or a Mariners fan, it has been stressful. If you weren't following baseball season, it was a very unique baseball season. There was 0 no-hitters this year. That hasn't happened. I don't know the numbers, but I'm guessing I can't remember a season that didn't have a no-hitter. And also, the best team in baseball was the Milwaukee Brewers. They were so good they clinched long before any other team. All the other teams came down to the wire, but not the Brewers. The Brewers just clinched, and it was great.
It was the first time in 20 years that there had
20
been a
years.
season with no hitters.
Yeah, so like I
Zero
said,
no-hitters.
I was right. It's a unique, very unique. I mean, I couldn't remember that happening. Um, and the Brewers clinched and then got swept by the Los Angeles Dodgers. So the best team in baseball by far, and the Dodgers made it look pretty easy. The Dodgers have walked themselves into the World Series and they barely even celebrated. You should see it. They were just on the field like high-fiving each other. It looked like another series win. It didn't even look like a World Series win. Very strange. So baseball's having a thing. If you aren't following, my Seattle Mariners are playing the Toronto Blue Jays, who made quick work of the Yankees, and they crushed the Yankees. Big offensive numbers. And then the Mariners won the first 2 games in Toronto. So us Mariner fans are feeling pretty good. We won 2 on the road. Then they came into our town in Seattle. They won 2. I go, gosh dang it. We had the momentum. We had the lead. We also won on the road. I mean, we were thinking this is a layup at that point. The hard part had been done, winning the first 2 on the road. So it's been very, very stressful. We got this miraculous win with a Cal Raleigh moonshot home run and then a Eugenio Suarez grand slam to win this really magical game. And then last night, the Blue Jays crushed us. And so today, you will already know the result by the time you're listening to this, but right now, this is being recorded right before that game, and I am so stressed. Very, very nervous. The silver lining is, here's what's keeping me optimistic today. Whether the Mariners win or lose to go to their first ever World Series, I am 2 years sober, so I'm very, very excited that today is my 2-year birthday of sobriety. And also, tomorrow is the home opener for the Los Angeles Lakers. So I have those 2 things to be excited about. And if my Mariners win today, I got 3 really big things to be excited about. And I'm very, very pumped. Just got back from Florida. I was at Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples, Florida. Let me tell you about my history with Off the Hook Comedy Club. It used to be this little seafood restaurant in Marco Island. And one time me and Brant, my opener, were there, and we robbed a sports bar to steal Mike Vanderjack's Pro Bowl jersey. And then everyone was being so mean to us that we returned the jerseys because we didn't want to get in trouble. But then because people kept treating us bad, we're like, let's go steal them again. Let's go steal them back. I don't really like the way everyone's treating us. So we went and stole the jerseys back again. And then it was this whole kerfuffle. If you want to see that, I'll leave a little thing for you right here. You can watch the whole story on Comedy Central. I told it on Ari Shafir's This Is Not Happening. Very funny story. Very maybe one of the only stories on those shows that is 100% true and not exaggerated or punched up. And I provided voicemails from the police, voicemails from Mike Vanderjack to prove that I wasn't just making the story up. But check that out. I'll leave like a little link here. The reason I'm telling you that is because the owner of that comedy club, you'd think you'd never book me again, right? Like I just robbed a place. I caused a lot of trouble. A lot of gossip on Marco Island about how some dumb comedians went and stole a jersey. You'd think that they would, not book me back. But he was generous enough to like a couple years later be like, hey, happy to have you back at the club. Like let's start fresh. You screwed up, but like let's start fresh. And I was dating a woman and she broke up with me via text message, and I was so upset about it because I really liked her that I went to the W Pool Hotel and I just got obliterated. So obliterated that I was late for the show, and by the time like I got up on stage, I was completely blackout drunk. I can't remember anything. We kept ordering more drinks from the club, ran up this huge tab, and this is the same owner. And the owner's going, this guy is a mess. So then actually, the next day, me and that girl got back together. It was like it was like a no situation. And, but you'd think that owner would go, all right, that's 2 strikes. This guy should not be coming back. Luckily, I'm super happy that this trip, he got to see what Sober Jeff does. The numbers were never better. We sold out all the shows. The shows couldn't have been better. I did all the meet and greets, shook everyone's hands, had a good time. So he's reaping the reward of not giving up on me for those 2 other kerfuffles that I've had at his club. So if you're ever in the Naples area, you want to see a good comedy show or have just a good dinner, the place is called Off the Hook, and it is a phenomenal establishment. Shout out to Captain Brian. Thanks for seeing it through. I will say I was even a nice guy back when I was screwing up a bunch. So that's probably why Captain Brian believed in me so much, is because I am still one of the dudes, So even when I was making all those big mistakes, I wasn't like a jerk or anything. So there's that. But yeah, check out Off the Hook Comedy Club. Thank you to Captain Brian. Thank you to the club. Thank you to Dennis, the manager. Very funny comedian and cool guy. I love him to death. Me and Bowers went all over the joint. I've never smoked more cigars in my life. I must have smoked 7 cigars per 24-hour period when we were in Naples. Just like at the pool, smoking a cigar. Then before the show, smoking a cigar. Then after the show, we go to this place called Burn, and we're smoking cigars. I mean, it was a lot of cigars. I'm gonna need a little rest from all the cigars I smoked. The reason I bring that up is because in cigar world, it's kind of like whiskeys or bourbons or any type of tequila or even wine for that matter. It's hard to know what is good and isn't. You go like, oh, I've drank whiskey my whole life. And they go, what's your favorite whiskey? You go, I guess Jameson. I don't know. Like I order the one I know, and then I just keep getting that. I'm not like a connoisseur of these brands, or I don't even know how I would measure what is a good one compared to a bad one. You kind of go with like the big names. You guys, it's a famous one I've heard. I guess, I guess that's the best one. I don't know. Is it by price? That one's more expensive. Does that mean it's better? So those kind of things are tricky, and cigars are just like that. You're kind of looking at the label. You go, that's a fancy label. Does that mean the cigar is good? Or like, is it what? So some of the bigger brands are Davidoff. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Davidoff. Rocky Patel, Plasencia. These are kind of the different cigar brands that are kind of like famous or known. Well, so we're at the cigar place, and my buddy Tom Human, shout out, love you, buddy. Thanks for hanging out all weekend. He's this older guy, used to be a police officer, was in the Marine Corps. He goes, you want to meet Rocky Patel? And I was like, wait, the Rocky Patel from the cigar company? He goes, yeah, he's here. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a person. I thought I want to go meet Dr. Pepper after this. Like
we'll meet Pink Floyd too.
Yeah, I just in my mind I was like, I didn't know that was a guy. I just knew it was a really good cigar. And Rocky Patel is a great cigar. In fact, my buddy Justin Downing, shout out to him, a lot of shout outs today. Justin Downing's favorite cigar brand is Rocky Patel. And I was like, I would love to meet Rocky Patel. So they take me over, I shake his hand. Rocky was so nice. I mean, he's got a great life. So it's he's got a lot to be thankful for, and I mean, like, it's great that he's generous with his wealth and his success. But a lot of really, really, really successful guys aren't necessarily the most approachable, and this guy really was. He was super nice. He's like, oh, well, let me get your number, man. I'll send you like a care package. I was like, I'd love that. He goes, yeah, just shoot me your address and blah blah. I heard you're a comedian, like that. He was like so cool. So that was awesome. Got to meet Rocky Patel. I'll put the picture right here so you can see it when we put this in. Yeah, just an all around great weekend. between baseball, between all that stuff, with the Cigar Lounge and then the comedy club, it was very, very, very fun. Chris Bowers and me had a great time. Super excited about all the people we met. It was awesome. Trying to think of some of the topics I want to talk about, and let's do this one. I keep hearing this trope since I've been in comedy that's like, oh, all comedians are broken toys. Or, oh, that's what made you want to be a comedian is you have this trauma, or like it's kind of like this hacky thing comics will do. I've seen even like really, really great comics who aren't hacks have that hacky observation that like, well, that's what makes a comedian. Oh, there it is. That's right there. That's what made you a comedian. And I think Jerry Seinfeld said it best. It's like, no, everybody's a little broken. You could find that for anything. I'm sure this Jerry Seinfeld said, I'm sure there's a lot of like bread truck drivers who have trauma, who are issues, but nobody ever like tries to sweepingly generalize bread truck drivers. They don't go, oh, I know how you accountants are. You guys all have daddy issues. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we do it for strippers and we do it for comedians for some reason. But, like, I would argue the most broken fucking losers are actors. All the actors I've met are the weirdos. Comics are cool. Comics dealt with all their bullshit with either drugs or alcohol and humor. They paired it with their addictions and then also comedy by laughing about it. Humor. Laughter is the best medicine, and they're using the medicine to treat whatever they're dealing with. That's why Jews are so funny. That's why black people are so funny. It's because they've been through some shit and they've realized laughter's the best medicine, and that's why that's how they're dealing with it. But like, think about being an actor. Let's talk about that. They're the ones that are the weirdos and again, nothing is all. I always say that nothing's all. I know, not all actors. I've met plenty of great, cool actors that are awesome people that don't qualify into this. But like most of the actors I've met, 90% of the actors I met are weirdos who don't know who they are. And I started asking myself, why do you think that is? And I think the first thing that comes to everyone's brain is like, well, they're so used to playing other people that they don't really know their own identity. They're kind of always mirroring or chameleon into these other roles. But one thing I've thought about is like, maybe we're not supposed to be acting. I know we need the arts, and that sounds stupid to say. Or it might sound religious or strange to say, but maybe the human wasn't meant to act, right? Like maybe that's deception at the highest level, to try to pretend you're in a thing. Like little kids pretend. These guys pretend for a living. Like I've met actresses and actors actually too who are like, I can cry on command. I'm like, you're not supposed to be able to do that. I don't think we were meant to be able to do that. Like, it's impressive. Don't get me wrong. I can't do it. It's very, very difficult. But the idea that you are tricking your own mind and psyche and like physical embodiment to be able to cry on command is like, you're like a witch that you can do that. Like, that is insane that you're able to do that. So I feel like maybe actors are just completely breaking the human code, and so that's what makes them like a little weird and robotic, is because they're doing all these things that humans maybe weren't meant to do. Another thing I like to say about actors that I feel like is true is when I'm saying act, I will often go like, oh, acting's easy. You just pretend. Little kids do it all the time. When I make that sweeping generalization, I'm not talking about good actors. I'm talking about like the dog shit they have me do. I'm not counting Sean Penn. And I'm not counting like these crazy good performances where you're like, how did they do that? Like when I go to Broadway, I am genuinely in awe. I'm like, how are they remembering this? Because they're not just remembering their lines, they're remembering their blocking. They're not even screwing it up once. When I'm in film or TV, like I'll get 30 takes, and then the movie will come out and I still don't like the take that I did that they said they got it. I can't imagine them not having mush mouth or forgetting a line or skipping a line or absolutely saying the wrong line or missing their mark. Like you'll watch Book of Mormon or Wicked or any of these things like in theater, like Hamilton or any of like the actual Broadway plays, and it will completely change your perspective on actors, because those are real actors. When I'm talking shit about the 90% of TV and screen and film actors who I've dealt with in Los Angeles on this like small scale bullshit. I was a real bandwagon fan to acting too. That's another thing. I growing up, I thought theater was the stupidest shit. And I was like, theater's gay, dude. I'm not going to watch this shit. And then I saw good theater, and I was like, I was wrong. Like, I think the first play I ever saw was Wicked at Pantages in Hollywood. And I was like, dragged there by a girlfriend. I was like, this is a date idea. I'll go. I'll be open-minded. I couldn't believe how incredible it was. I was like, this is absolutely amazing. So I will say, I think theater is kind of like stand-up comedy. Like when it's good, there's nothing better, and when it's bad, there's nothing worse. But it's if you think theater sucks, go see a big play, even if it's something you don't even like. Like there's no reason I, as a 42-year-old white male, should be interested in Orphan Annie or Waitress. But those plays are so good that both of them have me being like, yeah, this is really, I don't like musicals. They're all musical and they were all great. Like I think theater is like a whole different beast when it comes to acting. What else should we talk about? Let me see.
I mean, the physicality of theater. You don't see many fat people in theater just because it's an hour and a half long and you got to go.
Yeah.
No stops, no anything, no breaths, go.
It's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I don't know. I was like so shocked by it. I was like very like taken aback. You know, sometimes people come see me do stand-up comedy, and it's so like that it blows their mind. They go, "I could never do that," because we're getting up in front of a bunch of people. We're having to try to be funny, which is a hard thing. So to that person who's saying that, like they can't even imagine it. That is exactly how I feel about theater. It just blows my mind that they're doing what they're doing.
The idea of improv to someone who's so rigid in theater might also like drive them crazy.
Yeah.
When I directed a project, I could tell the people who came from theater to where they're going to like kind of do the same thing every single time over and over and over.
Yeah.
And then the people who wanted to just do more improv stuff and go off and neither one's better or worse.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's very few things, like, even if I watch the NBA, right, there's no chance I'd ever be an NBA player. But even as I watch it, I get it. I go, yeah, this guy just plays basketball every day since he was young. He became the best. He got good at this skill, and he keeps his body right, and he eats good. And, I can make sense of it. When I see theater, I just go, I don't get it. I don't know how you're doing that. Like, it just blows my mind. Because I've watched so many talented, like, actors need to do multiple takes, or they flub a line, or they start giggling, or they it's like that makes sense to me. When I see like film acting, I'm like, yeah, that's, you got a bunch of shots and you only have to memorize a scene at a time.
Theater's a bit of an equalizer too, because now you see some of these plays, they're probably only financed because they're getting some big movie star to come do it for a little bit. But that movie star, it's almost like Saturday Night Live, of they're coming into this improv world to where they're amazing at what they do, but this isn't exactly what they do. And you see it show of like,
dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, like, it legit blows my mind. I just go, wait, because I bet if you talk to George Clooney, if you talk to, I'm trying to think of some famous guys, Brad Pitt or Charlize Theron or any of these actors, and you said, when you did Mad Max, Charlize Theron, did you memorize the whole script? She's like, no. Like, she just memorizes scenes at a time. And she's such a talented actress that she, like, masters that scene. They go shoot that scene. And then when that scene's over, now she works on the next scene. Like, she read the whole script, but she didn't have it memorized. There's no way. To have a whole play memorized, like, that is mind-boggling to me. Like, I'm so impressed with it. All right. Let's talk about this one. I feel like young people they don't know what the word poor means. They don't know what I'm having a lot of trouble with young people going, I'm poor. It's like, yes, you're young. That's how young works. You have to acquire wealth. You don't start with money. That's not how it works. And even if you did, let's say you're some trust fund kid, you start with money, everyone hates you. You're a piece of shit to them. So whatever. But like, I'm so sick of young people acting like it's their right to be rich. They're all mad at the world. Like, can you believe this? Can you believe I have to work here? Like, this is such bullshit. I can't afford this. And they're like such grumps about like when they talk about it too. Like, can you believe I have to work here? I have a degree in gender studies. You're like, yeah, that's not a real degree. There's not a lot of jobs for that. Like you've got scammed by college. You know, someone should be telling young people, you know, not every college degree is going to get you a job immediately. You're signing up for a lot of debt. You're signing up for like this thing. Like, I don't know where this idea that you're supposed to just be rich. I don't know if it's a social media thing or like they're resenting the rich. They're like, fuck the rich and uplift the poor, tax the rich and help the poor. But like, they're only thinking they're poor because they're just young people. They'll be the future rich. That's how it works in our country. Later, you're going to be the one with money because you've acquired wealth or retirement or whatever the thing is. And that they don't even see it that way. They go, oh, this is crazy. And also, what's wrong with rich people? Rich people had to work hard. You know how hard it is to get rich? Literally everyone you know is trying to do it. That's how hard it is. There's not a single person not trying to be rich. And it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. Also, I don't think people know what poor is. I've been poor, where I had to make a roll of quarters last for a week. And this, I'm not so old where things just cost $1 at the time. I'm pretty young, where a roll of quarters trying to last a week is hard to do. I was sleeping in the back of a Volkswagen Jetta, and like, I was actually poor, but even that I wouldn't even have said homeless because homeless people don't have Volkswagen Jettas to sleep in the back of. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I had so many buddies, they talk about how poor they are, and then I go to their house, they have 2 flat screen televisions, 70 pairs of Jordans. I'm like, I don't think you know what poor is. Stop saying you're poor. I don't think you know what poor. If you think you're poor and then they give you a government check during COVID and you buy baseball cards and a guitar with your COVID money, I don't think you know what poor is. So you should say, like, I'm not rich, or, you know, times are a little tight right now because I've been buying other things. Stop saying poor. It's an insult to the poor. It drives me insane to hear all these, like, young people being like, I'm 23 and I can't buy a house. Like, whenever they want to, like, get on their political soapbox, they're talking about how, like, they can't buy a house. I'm like, I don't know if there's ever been a time where 23-year-olds bought houses. And if there was a time, we're talking in the 60s maybe, or the 50s, where a time that I wasn't on Earth. You weren't on Earth. That was a long time ago.
And they also just came back from fighting a war.
Right. Yeah. Very different times. Yeah. So, and also, those houses were probably still pretty expensive if burgers were 10 cents and shit like that. Like, we're in a different era, you know. I don't know. I don't know if any of that you agree with or disagree with. Please message me. Or comment below and let me know what you think. This will be the last subject I'd like to talk on. This will be a short episode. I'm sorry, it's been a busy week. And so like I've said before on this podcast, some will be short, some will be long. Definitely, rate, review, and subscribe for this. But the last thing I want to talk about is, a lot of people responded to last week's episode, or maybe 2 weeks' episode, where they were talking about when I was kind of ranting about black nationalists, or when I was talking about, why is it okay for Muhammad Ali to talk like that, as like a black nationalist. So I was, I got a lot of things from that. So one thing I want to say that I want to enter this into the chat, enter this into the conversation. I think code switching is racist. I think it is racist to code switch. No matter what race you are, you talk different based on the race of people you're around. Yeah, that's so icky. You should have a voice. You should have a vernacular. You should have the way you speak. Something that's genuine to who you are. you don't look at the race of the people around you and then decide which voice to switch into. I would love to have anyone who listens to this podcast try to explain this to me or defend it to me or just tell me I'm right. Because it is very racist for Kamala Harris to start talking to black people and then start like speaking in an urban kind of like dialect or whatever it's called, whatever the right words are. Or like Quentin Tarantino, he's a white guy he's like doing a panel and there's all these black people and he literally starts speaking like he's some jive guy. Like, it's racist.
The amount of interviews you can find of him and he'll say the N-word. It's just like, hey.
Not only does Tarantino say the N-word, he speaks, he's like, and then I was like, my brother, don't come. Like, he starts doing a bad impression of like a black person in a cartoon or something. Kamala Harris did it for 3 different types of things. This chick, I call her Big Dish, but she's a political person. She was like, whenever she gives a speech, she'll speak like she's speaking in like a church, like a Southern Baptist church. She'd be like, "We go now, you going round and talking to me." I'm like, what are you doing? I don't understand. Like, just use your speaking voice. Just be like, I don't understand. Like, if you're a gay guy and you're talking to me and then you go to the bar, the gay bar, and now you're like, oh my gosh, like why are you talking in like a gay voice? What is going on? I think this is all very dishonest, very disingenuous, and to switch your vernacular to match the race or sexual preference of the people around you is not only disingenuous, but I find the code switching about race racist. I think if you talk to me different because I'm a white guy, that's racist. And if I start talking different because you're a white person or a black person or an Asian person, I think that's super racist. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on code switching. Defend it to me without doing these generic, like, you don't understand. It's a cultural thing. Don't give me that fucking bullshit. Don't be vague. Don't go, oh, well, it's complex. You wouldn't understand white privilege. Give me some real concrete answers. Well, what is it? And if you don't have an answer, maybe ask yourself, maybe Jeff's right about this. Maybe it would be racist to look at 5 black people and go, I'm going to talk different to those 5 black people than I would to 5 white people. That's kind of icky. And I'm willing to be wrong about this. I would love to hear people's thoughts. Can you bring up my calendar real quick? Speaking of black people, I'm playing Atlanta this week. I'm very excited. Going to Atlanta, Georgia, this Friday, this Saturday. And then after Atlanta, on October 30th, I'm playing the Comedy Magic Club, but that show is sold out. I'm coming back to New York, November 5th. Get your tickets for the stand. I just did it this week, and it was awesome. It was my second time there. We sold out the show again. I was very flattered how many New York people came out, but we're doing it again November 5th. Then I go to Denver, November 6th to 8th. Then off to the great country of Australia. I will be in Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney, and Perth in Australia. I'm very, very excited. For all the other dates, go to jeffdye.com, and you can check me out. Check out when I'm coming to town. I come to Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Reno, Spokane. I'm going to be all over the place. I'm touring, baby. Also, November 11th, I will be on the Joe Rogan Experience. I'm going back on the podcast for appearance number 3. I would like to say this too before we say goodbye. I'm so flattered with the way everything's been going. I would like to give a very special... So people say, well, what really made you turn the corner? How did things start getting as good as they've appeared to get now? I credit it to, my sobriety. Right? My writing is off the charts. I'm a lot more responsible. I'm a lot more practical. I can connect with people better. So sobriety is the number one. For my career, not my personal health, not my mental health, not my chemical balance, not any of that. That's all sobriety. But for my career, I give credit firstly to my web guy. I want to shout out Miles Rayo. I love you so much, buddy. You've been so helpful. The only reason all this stuff is happening because you reached out, and I've been able to have a working relationship with you where you make these great reels and put them on Instagram, and people have noticed. So I give Miles all the credit for the success that my career has taken, and I really, really appreciate him. Because of Miles and those reels and all that stuff, Joe Rogan noticed me. And Joe Rogan has helped so much. He's been so good to me, and I want to thank you, Joe. And that's also how Greg Gutfeld recognized me. And I know, like, it's somehow controversial in this city that I live in, and maybe some of the more like liberal places I play, like Portland or my hometown Seattle, or even Denver or Nashville. They're like, "Oh my God, don't you go on Fox News?" It has been so helpful to me, and I want to thank Greg Gutfeld and Mike Castillo and all the people that have been very, very supportive of putting me on. I've been on Gutfeld over 30 times, and it has helped my career, and I want to thank those things. So those are the 4 things I'm very grateful for. So big shout out to getting clean and sobriety and the AA program. Miles Rayu, I think that's how you say his name. It's not.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you knew him.
No, he's your connect.
Oh, I thought he was from The Fighter and the Kid. I don't know what Miles' last name is. I call him just Miles. I don't know. So we love you, Miles. Thank you. And then also Joe Rogan, and also Greg Gutfeld. Thank you to those guys, man. You guys have really, really, really helped everything, and I love you. Yeah, thanks for being here, guys. We will see you next week. Subscribe on YouTube if you want to watch this, or subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm out.